Hey, yeah, thank you for having me. To be honest, I didn't expect it. So many people actually came because I'm a little bit nervous, but okay, I'm gonna start. Yeah, I'm gonna just quickly introduce by myself. I'm Jin Lee. I'm from South Korea, and currently I'm living in Berlin. And I have like 2 months art residency program in this Cyprus Thinker Maker space. And just like quickly introduce about my career or like kind of my life is like I was working as a web designer when I was in Korea, and then several years later, then I had to go to the military because like Korea is also like divided by the North and South Korea. And then so the military actually like kill all my kind of some like funny parts. And then after that, I just went to the Tokyo to study interface design. And in the same time, I was working as an application developer. And then someday actually I feel like really boring about my life, and then like because like really thinking of the how can I say like sitting on the front of the monitor and making whatever just coding source. And yeah, and then I just make my holiday to visit Switzerland because my older brother was working there at that moment. And then I met one German guy in the party, and then we were just talking about the art scene, blah blah blah. And then he told me that like in Germany, actually, you don't need to pay for the university. So I was like, ooh, because Korea or even in Japan, actually, we had to pay like kind of, I don't know, 60 or 70K per semester, actually. Yeah, it's really crazy. It's stupid, yeah. And then, yeah, so I was like, yeah, I mean, I was in Switzerland, so like just next country, and I just visited having some travel in Germany, and I visited Berlin and Berlin Art University, and I met one professor, actually the Professor Joachim Zauter. He was like really amazing media artist in our field. And then yeah, and I was really passionate about kind of some this media art, like making some physical installation using like electronic sensor and coding. So so since almost kind of some 10 years ago, I studied in Berlin Art University, and I'm working as a freelance artist based in Berlin now. Yeah. So probably you cannot really see the kind of some these images, but that was my aim actually. So this images is kind of like how can I say like the forest in the dark in the night actually. And as you see that it's really hard to grab some kind of some form or the out shape actually. Why I just start with these pictures is like when I was in the military actually, like usually in military you have to guard your base like kind of 1 or 2 hours in the night actually, and then there is no light at all, and then like usually the army base in Korea is like located in like really deep in the kind of mountain or somewhere. So this is a whole the scene you have to watching God like more than 2 hours per every night or something. But the thing is, like at the beginning, when I just, I was when I was a newbie in the military, then like kind of some the how can I say like the senior actually mentioned to me that like never at the look at the kind of some same spot actually more than 1 minute or something. So you always have to change your spot like this zigzag or something. So I was like, why then like I don't know, just do it. Like it was like he also got kind of some this comment from his the senior and senior. And then, so actually what happened is later, actually, I heard that kind of from this story is like, because when you're in the military, then like many of people actually, they believe that like they see kind of some ghost or something. Yeah, in the night when during this the guarding because, and then I thought this is like really just funny thing, but like after a couple of years later, I actually found kind of some clue of this story in some kind of some book, and it was kind of some pareidolia actually. So probably pareidolia, you guys already know this one. So pareidolia is like your brain is trying to find whatever like similar image in your kind of some database, trying to find this. So actually, this is quite similar. How can I say process that what the AI image recognition doing actually. They just trying to find whatever most similar thing on in their database actually. So if I just go back to the image, so what happened is if you just seeing kind of really dark and unforming on certain images, just more than like a couple of minutes later, then your brain cannot really hold this stress because you are watching some images which you don't know actually, which you cannot really recognize. Then your brain start working there like, okay, whatever, we have to make some imagination. We have to figure out that what is this meaning. Then you can see whatever ghost or pig or I don't know, your mom or something. So that's why they actually mentioned to me that like never look at in the same spot like more than a minute actually. Yeah, it was really funny. Yeah, it was really kind of sort of like really funny and impression story for me. And then after a couple of years later, then I also like read some article or some sentence from the books actually, and then this the H.P. Lovecraft, he's kind of a writer or something, and then he said that the oldest and the strongest emotion of the mankind is the fear, and then the oldest and the strongest kind of the fear is the fear of the unknown actually, and yeah, so I think that like so all the human, we really want to know everything to avoid the fear. That is kind of some our like really main, how can I say, some concept or our process from the as a human being actually. And so our brain always like process like to find the certain key in the inherently uncertain world actually. And it's a little bit changed the topic. So, so the Picasso said that humans are always linear and nature is a curve. Actually, so I think like why I actually connecting kind of some these two little bit different topic is like in our Earth, our planet actually only human make kind of this thing, this some sharp and some linear and then the line thing actually. I mean, except us, actually, all the create or the nature thing actually somehow make like really curved or some looks weird, but in the same time looks really natural, actually, right? So like I was like always thinking why we are what is wrong with our process in our brain actually, right? Because like I mean it's kind of a really deep theory or topic actually. So like I'm not like really kind of some this how can I say expert about this part, but I'm just thinking that like, I mean, we have intelligence actually, so we are the kind of some king of this planet. But why? I mean, we could also make some building or I don't know, electronics or whatever this technology, but using this way actually, not kind of this table, square table or something. So why we thought or we think that like this kind of like shape thingy is more good for us actually. That was kind of one other my question. And yeah, and so like we always trying to make kind of some how can I say some form or shape from the nature to some much more easier form or shape we can recognize actually. So that's why like we always like from probably I don't know like from like kind of some couple of thousand years ago, like human even in the caveman actually they try to make everything from the nature to kind of really simple symbolizing image, which we really easy to understand and easy to communicate with each other and give to the information or something. And also, even today, actually, there are a lot of kind of some analog data actually from the nature, and then like we always make it kind of some like recognizable digital data actually. And yeah, this one is like, I'm sorry, a little bit messy now, but like this one is like why I just put in it. This one is like kind of like all the electronic sensor I usually always working with. How they just get some kind of some data from the real world and using the data for the human actually. So for example, like in real world, we have the full spectrum of the color actually. But then for example, when we actually take this color or these images and try to using this as the digital data, then like we have to, how can I say, catch these images by the hardware first. For example, camera lens or the sensor actually. So camera sensor is like now actually how can I say, the resolution is like getting really crazy, increasing, and like 4K, 8K or something like this. But like it's also like really low data if we compare with the real world, like physical world actually. And then after that, then we also have to filter this data to using this one actually. So first filtered by the hardware, and then second filtered by software. So actually, like what I want to say is like all kinds of this filtered data we are using now is actually, if we compare with the real world, then like actually it's quite really low resolution actually. Yeah. So I was actually just put several kind of some keyword actually on the table. But what I want to say is that all the kind of my last questions were like connected with these images actually. So this one is actually kind of some like I didn't actually like put the kind of some explanation or the background theory of this image because like it's like too much, but like simply to explain that like there are a lot of kind of some like life simulation software or like kind of really simple some general how can I say, artificial life generation simulation actually. So it's like really simple. So if you just put kind of one pixel actually, and then you give like really simple 2 or 3 rules. For example, like like let's say like 1 second later, then you have to, how can I say, copy your pixel itself and move it to the 1 pixel up or something like this. I mean, you can just set whatever your rules actually. It's like a game. You can actually Google it like game of life or something. Anyway, so usually so there are a lot of variation of this game of life or simulation software actually. Usually what happens is like when you start this game, then like this because this pixels changing is very simple because you gave only really simple 2 or 3 rules actually. It just changes like go up, down, blah blah, just split by 2 or something. And then it just go to kind of a really simple way, blah blah. But at some point, actually, if you just hit kind of some line, actually, it extremely change, like really unpredictable. Actually, really make some kind of some chaos. This images actually shows almost like every kind of like life simulation software actually. So people said that like this line is kind of like the edge of chaos. This word of edge of chaos is actually came from some economic system actually. So this money guy always talking about the edge of the chaos theory and blah blah. But the thing is like always when we go from or come from the order to the chaos, then like there's already some kind of some line actually which all the situation is extremely changed actually. So, I mean, including all my kind of some previous questions again. So like my main question when I'm doing kind of some creativity activity in art scene, then my question is always like how I can actually discover something at the boundary between order and chaos. Because for me, it's like that part, exactly that part, all the kinds of creativity was like happen. That area was like really kind of some my like charming point actually, because like I don't know if I just understand kind of this process, then like and put in mix with my kind of some artwork activity, then like there should be something really funny thing happen. That was kind of my first question. So yeah, I just pick up some keywords like which is actually compared for the both of the order and the chaos. Like so, usually the order means like whatever something made by the human, actually artificial or linear and predictable or certain, and the other side is the totally neutral or curved, unpredictable and uncertain. So I just want to show that like few of my old artwork actually, which is like based on the kind of my previous question. So first one is like it's like when I was a student actually I made this one. So my aim was kind of okay then like how I can actually mimic or like representation of this nature property by some kinds of technology actually. And I think, do we have the, so badasuri means the like the sounds of the ocean in Korean. It makes feel you that like kind of some sound of the waves. So this one is like, if I just go back to the one slide back. So actually, this one is like quite famous kind of some play when you're kids in East Asia. I think like Korea or Japan, maybe China, I don't know. Yeah, so if you just put on kind of some beans on the kind of some bamboo tray and shake it, then it actually make kind of some sounds actually. So like the moment actually I was like really kind of, I mean, I was in Berlin and like I born and grew up in the really seaside. So like when I was a kid, I always go to the ocean or beach actually and spend my time. So like the ocean sea wave sound is kind of my nostalgia in terms of kind of some nature. But like Berlin is like there's it's like totally inland city and like yeah. So actually this artwork is actually for myself. I'm the maker, but in same time actually this one is like kind of some present artwork from me to me actually. So yeah, and then this yeah. How can I go to the next? Yeah, okay. And then the second challenge about kind of some this topic is like I'd like to make kind of some like this pareidolia artwork actually, but like not like kind of some really obvious visual artwork, but more like kind of some little bit subtle background story actually. I'm gonna just show the image first actually. So actually, this one is like really hard to explain actually, but I mean simply to explain that like this is the first image is kind of some front side actually. So what I did was like I actually plugged in like more than like thousands of the kind of some iron. How can I say? Not the needle, but like yeah, nails. And then I connected kind of some heating wire, which if you give the current on voltage power, then like it actually makes some heat actually. And I paint on each of this wire to kind of some thermochromic ink, which is like changing its color by the temperature actually. And then what I did is actually I asked like 10 of my friends actually and gave like each of them like kind of some 100 nails and just nailed it in random place. And this connecting this wire is also we all did. So what I want to try was like actually I'm the kind of main, creator of this artwork, but like I didn't really want to know that like how it connected. I mean, it doesn't make sense at all. Even I just, stick all the nail by myself and connect all the wire by myself. But I cannot really remember or I cannot like really plan to where I should go because all the wire is connected by really random. But like it's more like kind of some really want to make kind of some artwork which is like how can I say no one can really know how it connected actually. That was my aim. And then as you see then this is kind of some backside and like I actually make all the connection which can actually like connect each of the wires actually. So the wires actually what I make connected was like 1008 heating wire. And then, I mean, in technically, because of their combination, then like there's kind of some like, just a second. So 1,056,000 more than like 56,000 of the variation of the kind of some visual changing actually. And then before I just start to make this one, I make kind of some simulation software that like, so the aim was actually, I just make the simulation software first, and then like I gave kind of some like really one simple rule that like, okay, using your kind of some variation, just make whatever image which human can recognize. It could be like really simple circle, or it could be like, I don't know, some character of the A or number, or just bar or slice, whatever. And yeah, because like, I mean, it'll be, you know, cost a lot to produce actually. So like, but I mean, even in the simulation software, I actually learned more than like probably, I don't know, kind of some millions time or something. I mean, you know, in the software, but it never ever make any kind of some recognize, how can I say, some images which human can recognize. Yeah. So actually, I can actually show the video then. What the? Sorry. Yeah. So actually, like it's quite hard to take the videos because this wire is really thin actually, and the color was quite different. But anyway, what I want to actually really show by this artwork was actually, I'd like to make kind of some kind of some images which actually human never ever understand actually. Like as you see, then this is just kind of some. So each of the signal means like kind of just some lines actually, right? Really random lines. So whatever. So I actually, after build these devices, actually I just built kind of some software is like really simple, like kind of machine learning code actually, which is like I actually gave this machine learning to kind of some really lot of kind of some like really simple symbol or pictogram human made actually, and then these devices actually I installed the one camera front of these devices, and then this algorithm actually start to capture the images from number 1 till the number 1028, the last number actually. So it means like this algorithm has all the kind of some images from every each of the signal actually. So and then I gave only one rule to these devices that like, okay, just make some image which human recognize actually. Then by the simulation, actually, it always showed that like kind of some, how can I say, percentage of the less than 6 or 7% of the, how can perfection or of the generating image actually, which human can recognize. But then it actually infinitely starts to build another variation and another variation. But when you actually stand in the front of this device, then it actually shows kind of some line really randomly, and it doesn't make sense at all. But you are watching it because it tried to send you some signal actually, right? So the title of koan means actually it's actually kind of some Buddhism word actually. So like I'm not like really good about explain about what actually mean because it's quite deep, the philosophy actually. So, but I mean, just simply to explain, then koan is kind of some way of the Buddhism. How can I say the Buddhism, some Zen education thing. So like there's if let's say there is kind of some master of the um, what was the English word actually? Not the place of monks, yes. So let's say there is kind of some master monks actually, like let's say like 60 or 70 years old, really like good about all the Buddhism, Zen, and everything. And then he actually one day gave you some asking, some question which doesn't make sense at all. Like for example, like let's say I don't know, I just make something like for example, why you kill Buddha yesterday or something. So totally doesn't make sense at all. Then actually, so you really have to focus on what is the meaning of the background actually. So because this question is, so this question means like this, we are using kind of some language, right? But like in Buddhism actually, so there should be something beyond kind of some like human language system. That means like there is always something beyond like all our knowledge or thinking actually. So that's why. So basically, I just like as I told you, like koan is like really kind of some deep meaning of the in Buddhism field. So like I can by myself, what I'm feeling now is like I just like try to mimic and just catch just one tiny concept of this part actually. So what I would say is like something actually gives you some signal forever, but which you never understand, which you cannot catch the image. But then what happened in your brain? As we told you that, pareidolia means like your brain always working, your brain always trying to find a way, what is the meaning actually? Because like you already know that like this whatever ridiculous doesn't make sense, like lines combination, is you don't understand, but you know that this is not just random play. And needs this machine try to send some images to you actually. So that's why like I just want to make some kind of experience that like what our brain works actually, and the next images are it's kind of some relatively simple and like kind of some visual artwork actually. So this is kind of some real-time video installation which created like infinitely some curve or the floor of the which looks like nature actually. And then some area was like start to change their own nature movement, but start to drawing kind of some the line actually, linear line actually. And then this area means like kind of some human being. So like human change or make some kind of some effect of the nature thing to their own way actually. So this one is like actually, so it's kind of, yeah, almost like 3 years ago actually. Somehow like we got kind of some contact from the Bauhaus in Weimar actually, and then they want to make kind of some video installation on their building inside of a gallery. But they really want to, their kind of some precondition or keyword they gave to us is like kind of some, the motto of the Bauhaus is like, somehow like transform some nature thing, but to kind of some human, the linear design actually. So that's why just we make this artwork with one of my friends, actually artist Simon. And then, yeah, so basically this one is like, on the ceiling, actually, there's kind of a motion camera. And then like the motion camera captures the kind of the human's movement on the side. And then like it actually try to, generating kind of some area of the human actually. And then during this artwork, actually, like, because usually I don't really like making some visual or how can I say generative artwork, because I always really love to make some physical thing by my hand actually. But yeah, this one was quite really. I mean, yeah, I was like quite happy to build this one because like what I did was like put some kind of more than like 1,000 like point on the on the stage actually, and then gave them kind of some really random movement, but actually they are somehow connected with the neighbor's pixel actually. So as you see that all the kind of some this curved one is actually the rule is like when it goes kind of some close to each other, then actually they just, how can I say, organic combination, I can say. And then, so this one is kind of some last year's one. Actually, this is kind of my first time to use the fog as a material. Actually, so like the title is like imperfect, uncertain, non-object. It's like too long, but yeah, there is some reason. But so what I really want to make it is like I was that moment. So 2022 was last year was kind of some like we are like almost end of the pandemic and trying to being, how can I say, going back to the normal life, right? And then the moment was, I was also like really kind of some really down, and like everything is uncertain, everything is a really depression, and like and then because like in the pandemic, probably everyone we all did, but like I still remember that like I got kind of some 2 or 3 projects and kind of some contract. And then because of the pandemic, all the project was canceled, all the events was canceled. So literally there's nothing I can do, like, and then I cannot like go outside, and Berlin was also somehow like, we didn't like block the city, but somehow same shit. And yeah, sorry. So like, I really want to try to explain or show the kind of some like, the how can I say, what we feel today actually. So this artwork is like, I think I should actually explain the background. So like, as the image is actually, then I just make kind of some structure which how can I say, which looks like kind of some creature's bone actually, kind of some backbone actually. And then instead of the bone start to make kind of some fog actually. So this fog means its body actually. But like as you expected, the fog is like it will be disappear really soon, right? I mean, it's just like split out in the space. So what how can the scenario I said it is like when it start to make the form, the fog, and the fog start to cover its body, then it means like some kind of some crazy birds actually. And then only one rule I gave to this object is like trying to staying alive longer. It means like whatever you did, then trying to keep this fog in the nearby you as long as much as you possible. And then sorry, I should actually put some more clear image, but I just explain like this way. Sorry. So as you see, this structure looks like kind of some this actually, and then so let's say this is one kind of some unit, and one unit has kind of some 4 excluder of the fog actually. So you can only control the how much fog you should actually, how can I say, explode? Oh, no. exclude from which valve or something like that. So actually, basically, like, keeping some fog in the states, it means like there's a lot of kinds of property you have to think about it. For example, like the most important thing is like temperature in the room, and then secondly is kind of the humidity or something, and then wind and everything, right? But this one is also like but this device doesn't have any kind of some sensor of the checking the temperature in the room or sensor for the humidity or something like this. I actually give only the one camera front of devices actually. So like what happened is like the first time it actually start to make some fog actually, and then there's one camera that captures images of this fog actually, and then few seconds later, maybe if you're lucky, then like 20 seconds, 30 seconds later, anyway, the fog will disappear. That means like this creature bursts it, and then it dead actually. So this is one cycle of its life actually. Then after it dead actually, after the fog will disappear, then like the machine learning calculate how many seconds or how long actually did I alive in the last life actually. Then it tried to do some other, it tried to another life actually. In this time, it actually changes kind of some value of each of the valve, timing or the amount or fan speed or something like this. But, so it's gonna be infinitely trying to being like perfect life, but it never get this score because this object doesn't have any kind of some sense to figure out its own environment, right? So it's just trying. It always trying to make some fog and dying and trying to. I think like this is kind of like really simple. I mean, how can I say symbolization of our life, because like this one is it has kind of some goal, like being alive or being perfect life, let's say, but it doesn't know that then what it needs actually. So like I mean I don't know, that moment that was kind of some perfect kind of my situation. I was like, I don't know, I mean, how can I say? I had money that moment somehow. I mean, it's not about a financial problem, but like somehow like all kind of some opportunity or nothing to do and stuck in my room, and I don't know, like I mean, so there are a lot of kind of some like negative or dark question came into my mind. Like I mean, what the fuck is life actually? Like, am I doing well, or like what is the perfect life? What kind of some question, or what should I know if I, how can I say, if I want to being like really perfect or something, unstable or something. So yeah. So this I have some video for this. Okay, so like so far actually I just showed that like few of my recent artwork actually, and then so like since the last artwork, then like I was like, how can I say, like really start to love with this fog as the material, because like it's so hard to control, so hard to handle, like it just disappear really soon, and like, but because of that, actually, it's kind of some symbol for me of the all the kind of some like uncertainty actually with the which actually I can actually use as the really good material, as how can I say it? I'm trying to challenge about the all the kind of like about my questions about unpredictable thingy, or like something, the some boundary between the chaos and the order actually. And then so in this time during this residency program, actually I tried to make kind of some, trying to find some kind of some boundary between the turbulent flow and then laminar flow actually. So the project motive is like I'm going to show you really quickly about this ion craft actually. So you can Google it, ion craft or ion thruster actually. So like, which is like using like really simple technology.
And so yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at it. As you can see, right when I apply the power, it creates that force and it just floats up off the ground. And I imagine it could float a little bit higher probably if I'm more optimized where the wires were. And also it's tethered down so it can't float that high, as you can see. So yeah.
So like this one is really simple. So like simply just explain that like if you just give kind of prepare kind of some two conductor actually, and then if you just give like really high voltage, like in this couple of k volt, so 1,000 volt or like 10k volt or something like this, then actually some kind of some ion thingy actually jump to the next conductor actually, and then during this process actually it hit kind of some physical air actually, so it means like it makes wind actually. And so this technology is actually quite like lot of kind of some local industry is still on their research about this one, because like this technology is actually doesn't make sense at all on Earth actually. But why NASA or some MIT actually using this one is like, it's like really good way to how can I say, make some like spaceship in the universe in the universe actually, because like it doesn't like really need any kind of some physical material like the oil or something. So this one is, I also should really quickly just show this video. This one is like in MIT actually making, what the, sorry.
There's about 50% power.
Ah.
There's about 50% power, so there's a power void.
So they built kind of like middle scale, a scale of this the automobile, and then they success to flying it like more than like kind of some meters actually.
Followed quite soon after, which were pretty exciting. It's probably the first solid state flight of a fuel and air vehicle, and I think that is.
So I think like you can guess that like this technology is like really still on developing, because NASA still making kind of this looks stupid toy level of thingy, but anyway. So yeah, background story is like ion wind is coming from this one actually, but like you don't really need to think about this. Yeah, so why I actually focus on this thing is like because the turbulent flow is like, it's like really typical phenomenon. It's like, it's everywhere, like, in the, how can, the airflow in this room or the ocean's floor or everything. So most of every kind of some flowing process in nature thing is like this, the turbulent flow actually. And then the laminar flow is like, it's really rare. I cannot say that like in nature it's never happened, but it's really rare. So I mean, there is another way to make kind of some this laminar flow is like, I don't know, if you're just using some prepare just normal fan and make the axis shape like kind of some little, like I don't know, thin or tiny bar or something like this, then you can actually generate kind of some linear flow, but only few cents actually. After few cents later, the air is start to mixing with the just normal, the turbulent flow in the air and start to make kind of circle and rotation. So I can say laminar flow is like little layer, and usually it is how can it happen because of something human-made actually. So I was like, in this time, I really like, have the interesting about this the ion winds, because the ion wind means like, it's mechanism of wind between some conductor. It means like we can actually decide this shape of this wind actually, maybe. Because like, if you're choosing kind of some conductor shape like circle or triangle or some bar or some smile mark actually, then maybe we can design the shape of the wind like this way actually. I mean, I didn't know, and to be honest, I still don't know, but yeah, maybe. So my question, my hypothesis was like, if that, then what could we do with this new technology or new way? And we can, there's more kind of some spectrum that we can use it for in art scene actually. I mean, I had to make a research about these three categories. So first one is obviously fluid dynamics actually. And the second one is high voltage control, and the third one is ion wind structure design actually. And then somehow like, I mean, the kind of some high voltage control and ion structure design is like somehow I could find some basic tutorial or some reference in internet, but like fluid dynamics is like, it's another level actually. And then I tried to contact with a lot of kind of some experts and professors which is working on kind of some this field to, help her, send my question, and no one answered yet actually. I don't know, probably those fields are too expensive or something, but anyway, so I just started to build something actually. And then first I just making kind of some like really simple DIY, the electronic circuit for generating some high voltage thing. So I just bought both from the Amazon actually, and then like, I mean the voltage multiplier cost like, I don't know, 20 euro or something, and it's cost only 8 euro. And then what happened is like, just a couple of times later, of the test later, then this cheapest Chinese generator is just born actually. So this is why actually many people doesn't really recommend kind of some this cheapest toy level of generator. So that's why actually I try to find kind of some manufacturer of this high voltage power supply actually. But what I realized was like there are only few kind of some industry company provide the high voltage power supply. Because like most of this scene is like really another level of industry, like kind of some, I don't know, like kind of some couple of €1,000 for like really some important like devices or something. So kind of this like I can buy it. This level is like I found only 2 or 3 company during my research actually. But luckily I found one company from the Australia this time, and I ordered some proper the electronic model actually. And then second, what I did was I was just trying to find kind of some like best match of this conductor shape actually. And then I had no idea. And then all kind of some the research about this ion wind, DIY ion wind is from the YouTube or the blog or whatever. Then they suggest all different shape. So that means like they also have no fucking idea. They just, my case, it worked kind of this one. So I just, try all this combination actually. And then, for example, like this one is like spike and kind of some measuring shape, and this one is spiral and making more like kind of some make some wind by the plate by the plate surface thingy, and then some several type of this one. And then in the end, I realized that like this kind of some combination was the best result, which is like the kind of some negative conduct means like you don't need to think about the negative or conductive or whatever. So kind of some really spike or nail shape, and then the other side is kind of some much more like some surface shape. Then actually it makes much more wind actually. And then actually I was like thinking about, okay, then if this is the best combination, then maybe I can make kind of some this shape. So what my imagination was like, making kind of some ring shape of the wind, then like, kind of some this cylinder shape of the wind is go to this way, but inside is like there is no wind, then maybe, you know, we can do some funny thing. For example, like outside is go to the kind of this way, and inside go to this way or something. And I try to make kind of this way. So my image dreaming was like this actually. Instead of many of the models on the side, then maybe we can make kind of some link of the, you know, the wind or fog or something. But after a couple of times test, then like I immediately realized that like the power supply I bought is obviously it's not enough power for the even for 2 module of this ring shape actually. So then at the moment was like it's already kind of 1 month later, which I when I start with this art residency program, and then like finally I got one answer from the one industry. Some company in Taiwan actually, they make kind of some ion wind devices, but one means of their product is they making kind of some like the some kind of some ion wind generator for your health actually. I don't know why, but still many kinds of older people believe that like ion wind is good for your health. Actually, I actually make some research about that. There are a lot of kind of some people say extremely different way. Some people, some scientists said like, no, actually ion wind means kind of some ozone actually. If you consume too much ozone, it will, you know, it's not good for your health. And the other also scientists said like, no, actually, but the amount of this ozone from the ion wind is actually really good and blah, blah, blah. So like, it's, I don't know. But anyway, so this industry person is, he actually making kind of some ion wind device for the, some boring, like some you know, some product, some healthy product, but somehow he has have like really a lot of interesting because I told him, yeah, I mean, probably I'm gonna using this for artwork. So then he was like, well, artwork. So anyway, so he sent a lot of kind of some answer actually, and then in the end, like he actually, yeah, I mean, he gave kind of his knowledge about kind of some basic of the like the ion wind structure and the power calculation way or something like this. So I mean. Only one thing is he cannot speak English at all, so like I always have to translate it, blah blah blah. But yeah, anyway, so like now actually I got kind of some basic knowledge about this ion wind thingy. So and then actually I start to build kind of some like some final test model with the bar shape, which is because I know like what is the best distance or the angle or something like this. And then so this one is like what I got actually. So as you see that there's kind of really some tiny like light on each of the end of the nail actually. So actually that is kind of plasmas actually, really tiny plasma. So actually it's, I don't know, like I actually found some other reference than like if we have a little bit special camera, like which is much better for the night shooting or something, then you can actually see that kind of some like this triangle shape which start from this edge of the nail and go to the another conductor actually. Yeah. And then, so then at this point actually, like I had only kind of some 1 week left of this residency program actually. So like, I really want to build something, you know, I really want to like, I mean, okay, this kind of link thing is like, it was just my dream. It's never happened in this time, but like, at least I really want to make something actually to, you know, share this kind of some result actually in my study actually. So what I challenge was like make really simple tornado with kind of some 4 models. And this one is actually quite, for me was like, it was quite certain plan because actually like I made kind of some tornadoes 2 times actually. For example, I'm gonna just show this video as well. So it's happened last year actually. There is kind of some artist duo like Korensky and Sir. Actually, they are my friends. And then they asked me to build kind of some help to tornado actually. And then this theory is really simple actually. You just provide like some 4 wind direction and then kind of some, you know, the one kind of suction thing actually from the top actually. Then it makes kind of some wind. And then you can Google it on YouTube, then DIY tornado, whatever. So it's really simple. And angle doesn't really matter. Just prepare 4 direction wind and shot in the kind of some center, then it should make whatever some circle tornado actually. But the thing is actually, Yeah, I just designed like this way, and then tornado should be generated in here actually, and then it was kind of some my design, like making kind of some really thin bar shape of the shape actually. But you can test later. But actually, the result wasn't really, like clear than I expected, because like the tornado, the shape and movement was like looks like really random. It doesn't like really perfect tornado what I expected. So like, I actually this is my guess actually, because I had no time to like ask to some expert about this but so I'm guessing that like because of the laminar flow itself is quite different. Like how can I say, like combination or mixing together actually. So this is kind of my last will be the kind of some question which I have to ask to someone and make some more research about for the next step actually. And yeah, so next step is obviously like I had to more research about the fluid dynamics actually. And then, so yeah, I'm guessing that like I'm still on the challenge. This project is still on the process. There are a lot of things I still have to study and challenge with that. But I just imagine that in my mind, like yeah, maybe one day actually we can, if we can make kind of some shape of the wind or the airflow in this room, then maybe we can make kind of some like something, some shape of the fog actually, which we never seen actually, or we never have in the room actually. So for example, like this kind of a cube shape or something. I mean, who knows, right? I mean, yeah. So yeah, this is my kind of some like diary of 2 months affiliated program, and I really thank to all the members of the Synchro Maker Space. Seriously, it was really great time for the last 50 days actually. And then I assume that like most of you are from here, Cyprus or something, and then you guys really have to know that like this, the color of sky and the cloud, everything was really awesome. Seriously, I think like it's not like really normal thing. It's really special. You cannot see this beautiful sky in every day actually. I don't know, like for example, my hometown Korea is like, I don't know, like we are full of the smoke or something, and then crazy building, and you can see, I don't know, only like 2 centimeters of the sky during the, anyway, yeah. And then I always, when I come to here, or go back home, the Airbnb or something, then I always like, look up and watching the sky. Or when I'm looking down, then there are lots of cats on the street. Oh, it's really like, I can't really, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy. Yeah. I met like really millions of the cats on the street. They're super nice. Yeah. Anyway, I don't know how I can actually, closing this talk, but like I really appreciate about all your help and all the experience which I can have here. Actually, yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Anyone any questions for Jin?
Do you have another project planned? Or what's next for you?
What's next?
Yeah.
Probably like I'm actually I'm artist, but like in the same time, I actually spent many of my time to being kind of some arts technician actually, which means like I work for the other artists. I just working for them actually, because I also have have to earn some money, right? So like it's always like really kind of some matter of taking some balance. Like if I have many chance to build my own artwork, then it's really awesome, fun. But in the same time, after a couple of months later, my bank account is getting, and then I also have to go back to the working for another kind of artist or company or something. But I mean, a couple of months later, then like, I was quite happy because income is quite good. But then like, like you don't have any kind of career or something like this. But anyway, so in this year, I have some server, like some promotion project, which means like working for the money. But but my plan is like I have one opportunity to show some artwork in the winter in South Korea in this time. Then I really want to continue this project actually. I really want to at least catch the kind of some making like really simple shape, whatever, like some circle or triangle or whatever. That is my goal in this year because like, I don't know, maybe like, I also feel, to be honest with you guys, I feel a little bit like, is it like, ion wind means like, it's not really easy to build actually. Like, to be honest, this power supply as well, like it's checking and then this, checking the voltage, like, a little bit more, a little bit less. And then all the materials should be like really, hard to make it. Because here is the makeup place, we have all the devices. That's why actually I could build all this deep variable of the shape of thing actually, but if I just go back to my studio in Berlin, then like, I don't know, I really have to find some company actually, right? So my point is like, I don't know, like sometimes I feel like, is it make sense that like I'm spend a lot of time and money to blah, 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 and in the end, like, let's say if I make kind of like really tiny triangle window like this, yeah, then, hey guys, and then people are like, so what the fuck? I mean, so I mean, what is the meaning then? Like, yeah, it could be, right? I don't know. Maybe it's only like I'm the only one person who I really fascinated with this one, but I don't know. I really want to like somehow like make kind of some research in this year about this concept and technology actually. So and then that's why actually it was like really great opportunity to start this project in this athletic program actually, because like I saw the kind of this open call when I just this idea came into my mind actually. I was just thinking about this guys make some funny thing, blah blah, and then few minutes later I found this open call, so and then like everything was happening in my mind. Then like, okay, then maybe I can try this one. So yeah.
Maybe because ion wind is good for you, you cannot make a tornado.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Just want to say congratulations. I mean, I really enjoyed your work. Not really a question, but also it's very nice to see how you make the videos, which are your old work. It's so difficult to make, but they're all so well documented and well made. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I want to say something. Thank you for the presentation.
Thank
Your work is really good. I kind of disagree in your concept in the beginning, putting nature in the category of chaos. Nature is based in an absolute principles and physics and mathematics. On the other hand, human is a chaotic
That's
part
so true.
of the equation.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in the surface, it seems uncertain and chaotic. Let's say the flow, the weather. But if you really starting analyzing it, you can see that it follows a pattern or rules.
Yeah.
That's why we have now the forecasts.
Yeah.
Because the human managed to understand the principles behind it. So, yes. This is
Yeah, I totally agree with you because like I mean, I just like quickly just want to show that like one because like I didn't like tell about this one because okay, this title of this imperfect, uncertain, non-object, because like usually I don't really explain what is the meaning of this title if I just have some chance, because like it's I don't know, I feel a little bit like, I mean, this is too much, no one has interest in about this title or something. But so why I actually named this title like this way is like, I always explain to people when I just, talking about this topic is like, yeah, exactly what they, people think that nature is like unpredictable. Nature doesn't have the rule, nature is really chaos. And then all the kind of some intelligence from the human or technology from human is like really simple and predictable or something. But as you see that like, for example, like one wave in the ocean, actually, it looks like so unpredictable and really random changing something, blah, blah, blah. But actually, if we just go into the kind of like the micro concept thingy, actually, then all the movement of each of the like, property of this thingy is like perfectly in logic, perfectly in physics logic, actually, right? And then if we see the ocean is, really like crazy shape or something, but if we just really go back to the like really kind of macro scale, actually, so if you see the kind of, or out ocean from the universe, then like all the the floor of the ocean is always really beautiful drawing actually. So the thing is like, what is really like how we can name it like unperfect or unpredictable? Because like unpredictable means it does not mean that like its movement or its property itself is chaos, but like we have no knowledge or no concept of, we still couldn't reach kind of this border actually. So inside of my mind is kind of some concept is like all the kind of some our human how can I say technology research, everything is like we since we like I don't know a couple of thousand years ago, like we were living in the caves or something, and then now we are like using AI or something like Bitcoin or something. That's stupid, but so we make kind of some like draw. This is just my thinking, personal thinking. We draw really tiny circle actually. This is the area, kind of some certain area we figured out. We know the rules, we know what it is actually. But except this tiny circle, all the others are still like under the kind of some unpredictable, uncertain area actually, which is nature actually. So all our trying is like trying to getting like just I don't know, one step wider or something like this. So yeah, I don't know why I'm talking like this, but yeah. Okay, the title. Sorry.
You spent too much time in Cyprus. You started speaking like Cypriot.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm telling you that much. Maybe it's the what.
Yeah. Actually, last 15 days, like slowly changing my character.
Welcome to Cyprus.
Yeah. Yeah. So the title is like, I always explain that like this creature from this fog is like it's changing, or I mean each statement is like imperfect because it's like and then it's changing is uncertain, and then it's not kind of a physical object. But actually, in the other hand, if you think about it, like each statement is actually perfect. Physically perfect statement. It's the kind of like fog, but fog, so tiny kind of water liquid thingy actually flying on the air because of the airflow. So like physically it's like perfect statement, and then its movement is also very, very certain if you can calculate or figure out the airflow in this room actually, and also it is object actually. It is also object which is like have the shape and the color and everything. So like that's why like it's like kind of some like bullshit, but like for me it was like I just want to say that like how we each to say that like this is like imperfect. This is unpredictable or something. But like actually there are a lot of things is somehow really hard to say that this is on this side, this is on this side. So like I don't know, like I really want to make kind of something like, yeah, it's like something really between here, like like it seems like some kind of some object because of white or something, but it's like by the fog and disappear really soon. So, well, I don't know. I mean, like really like messy in my brain, but thank you for asking the question. I totally agree with you. Yeah, that was like really good concept. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't sleep well last night actually, so I'm a little bit nervous now actually. Yeah, sorry.
Thank you very much, Jin,
Yeah.
for your presentation. It was very inspirational, and it was great having you here as well. And you also give us a lot of inspiration with your work. So now we have some wine outside. We can continue with the conversation, if you wish. And